Mark Brown was my son. He was my baby. He was my adolescent. He was my adult child. He was a friend.
I was attracted to his personality. I was attracted to his smile.
A young, dynamic individual who loved kids.
Mark Brown was a friend, a brother, and a father figure.
A very passionate person, charismatic.
He's a very complicated person, I think, but yet very simple, sort of an enigma.
I also knew him as one of the most insecure people I ever knew.
He was my boyfriend to me and to his friends when they were at my house.
Controlling to a fault, immature at times, deceitful.
He had a way of bringing everybody into him, like drawing them into his web. Like, he's funny.
He was there for me every time I needed him.
My brother committed suicide. For the last 6 years, I have felt so alone, so isolated from others. A lot of people who are close to him have their opinions about his decisions and about the life he led. Mark was like any other person on this planet. He wasn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination. He had his good moments, and then he had his bad. There were times when he was extremely compassionate, understanding, and giving. Then there were those times when he was nothing more than a selfish little shit. But who is innocent of selfishness from time to time? We all have our own way of dealing with life's problems. It is so easy to lose yourself when reality seems to be taking a turn for the worst. The problems that Mark suffered from, which led to his death, are the same problems that plague our contemporary world society. Lack of understanding and lack of communication. We lack it in nature, between nations, in our own personal friendships, and most importantly, we lack it within ourselves. Like frightened children, we only allow a selected few, if any, a glimpse at the true face of our nature. We waste so much energy finding new ways to keep people outside our internal defenses that we lose touch of who we are. We all have our own way of dealing with life's problems. If he would have remembered all the positive influences he had, maybe he wouldn't have felt so alone in the end.
I met Mark Brown at Mountain View Park.
While Mark was there, we had a following with the teens. We had kids that showed up on a regular basis. They came and they hung out, and we said, oh, Mountain View has a teen program, but we had a teen program honestly because Mark was there and had developed the trust and the relationship and knew how to have fun and was edgy enough so that they didn't, that he was still relevant in terms of young people and what they like to do.
Here's a chair. Imagine a kid duct taped completely and a tack, this normal size tack about right here, and a boom box right here playing gospel music. And all right, see you later. Walked up the stairs and left.
Mark bent every rule and broke every rule possible that he was ever faced with. He'd leave that rec center unattended by kids that would work with him or for him, kids that didn't even work there, kids that were just hanging out.
The famous quote, which I don't think I'll forget, I'll take to my grave, is "Wiffle ball bats don't leave welts." And the after-school program was going crazy at that time. It was summer, there was kids climbing off the walls. And he goes, I'll tell you how to deal with these kids. Wiffle ball bats don't leave wilts. And he grabs one of them, swats him on the back of the leg, and pushes him on. And the kid laughs and ran away. Now, if we did that today in 2007, I think we'd be sued.
That was definitely one of the things I respected most about Mark. He was an incredible mentor and leader to the kids out here.
Mark was a very good listener to those kids. Mark was good being a kid. I should say that. Mark as a rec leader was getting paid to be a kid.
First impression of Mark, wanted to be like him.
There were set things that we had to do all the time. And Mark always did them, but he always went about them in such a way that he didn't always follow the rules. He was about the kids wholeheartedly, not about the rules. And if it came down to having fun or following the rules, we had fun. And that's the kind of recreation leader he was. Damn the rules, we're gonna have a good time. But he was also, you know, I think he was, for the most part, a good role model in that he kind of taught people that life's short. You gotta have a good time while you're here.
I admire the product, if not the process, with how Mark worked up there.
You know, he never put himself above us. You know, we considered this place our home, and we wouldn't come here unless he was working.
It doesn't matter how much good you think you bring to this world. If you lose touch with yourself and those around you, it is so easy to get lost. You begin to overcompensate in all areas where you may feel you are lacking. This behavior only perpetuates abusive cycles, and when unchecked, disaster follows.
Treated women like shit.
Sometimes you'll sit around, whether it's over dinner or a couple beers or watching a football game, you tend to do that manly, masculine thing and joke about things that aren't necessarily to be joked about, such as the fact that you're cheating on your girlfriend or you got multiple girlfriends or whatever the case may be.
He cheated on me, broke up with me because he said he thought he should, because I think he actually had a conscience then.
What did you see?
I don't want to say that.
Some people are.
Let them say it.
There were times when I knew one was coming, I didn't know the other was coming, and one would walk in the door and I'd be like, uh-oh, what are we gonna do?
The 2 or 3 or 4, whatever he had at the particular time, I think they all served a different purpose for him.
If he knew the exact time, because Chrissy Demas was like that type of person that would show up. If she said she was gonna be there at 9:59, she was there at 9:59. And I think we could get Nicole out the door by 9:57. And even if they passed each other on the road, it still didn't matter, because he could work his way around that. And in a way it was kind of impressive, but another way I really disliked that, because I always felt as if I was part of some sort of like conspiracy theory, some sort of big lie scheme.
I think one in particular was his best friend. The other one suited his probably sexual desires or his physical side, and she was kind of like his arm candy. He felt good when he was seen with her.
No matter how hard one tries, demons find their way to the surface. Ignoring problems don't get rid of them, it feeds them.